gotten a clean shirt on and feeling a lot better now after the 20 hours of game dev for cargOS. So there's about 20 hours worth. You can actually, I made a collection. So if you go to the Twitch channel and you click collections on the top, there's LD42 entire game. You can click this, and this will start to play all 20 hours of that. So you can check that out if you want to. All the videos are here. 19 hours and 40 minutes. So that's how long it took from start to finish, from the first commit to the final submit for LD42 for the compo, and that is cargOS. It's a play on an operating system in cargo, because you're playing the computer and you're trying to handle cargo and teleport it down to the surface of a planet as ships come and drop it off. That's the idea. So I'll talk a little bit first about what went well. On Google, drive.google.com. I'm starting to lose my voice from I think I streamed for like 8 or 9 hours today, so I am at the brink of that ending. But here is the ideas that I had originally. So I had ideas for everything but 2 points of view. And cargo-based simulator was what I had thought of ahead of time for running out of space. So something that worked out really good was when the final round of voting happened, to get an idea for games that I wanted to make right away. And having that ready, so I didn't spend time mulling over the theme and saying, oh, the theme's bad, or oh, I don't like the theme, or whatnot. So that's kind of what went well there, if you will. Sorry, kind of distracted. Shouldn't be. Focus here. All right. So that's number one. That was ready. I had everything updated, installed, and ready to go. I checked that by making my pre-LD photo. So on Twitter here, I had a nice picture of my setup before. A day early, I made sure everything was opening and working as planned. And I also had the repo ready for GitHub, pretty much ready to go. So it was all ready to go. So this is my workstation. It pretty much looks exactly like this, except for the MacBook is not here. And this sketchbook, the really small one, actually came in handy for me to write down colors that I was going to use for everything. But yeah, this test, though, if you look at the screens, I guess I can't, there we go, zoom in. This is SFXer, this is BossCL, A-Sprites in the background, and Unity's open. So those are my tools, and I was making sure that all of them worked, and this photo helped out with that. These eye drops I actually had to use because on the first day my eye got so dried out that I couldn't go on, so I had to take an early nap. Which brings me to point number 2. The second thing that went really well is that I slept every night. I didn't stay up or push myself too hard, I don't think. I made the game in 48 hours. It took me 19 hours and 40 minutes, and I streamed it all. So I still had about, 20 hours of downtime of me doing other things in my life, like sleeping, eating, being human, going out. I went out for lunch on the first day. I went out for dinner afterwards today. I actually stayed in the office the whole time and crunched through since 8 o'clock in the morning until the submission time. I was pretty much heads down on getting this thing going. So that worked out good too. Another thing that worked out well was I had itch.io already ready for the page. I didn't know what it was going to be about, so I just called it LD42. And in my dashboard, I had a draft project for cargOS ready to go with a lot of the things filled out ahead of time. If we go behind the scenes here. So I had mocked up stuff here with the title. I already had things filled out like no payments, and I didn't have any screenshots obviously, but just having this ready so I didn't have to go through and try to do it then. I don't know, I think it probably didn't help a whole lot, but it felt like it helped a lot. Having the repo ready early did help out pretty well. So let's talk about what went wrong. First, oh, the other thing is I had Trello ready to go to, which is my utility for maintaining lists of things that I need to do. So we'll pull that up also for the postmortem here. And here's Trello. Okay, actually this is done, this is canceled, and that finished, right? The winch is over the belt and gravel moves down the winch. You can no longer grab the gravel. This was kind of fixed-ish. Add objects so that the players are invisible on each side when they check for a collision. Prevent the player from this. Never got done. That got canceled. Okay. So this is our Trello board. To do on deck, like stuff that's really important goes here. Stuff that I want to do goes here. If I have an idea and I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, it goes in this list. If there's bugs, they go in here. This is the absolute most top priority usually. Yes, Iris, I am streaming. This is the post-mortem, so we're going back. I had time to eat dinner, shower, collect my thoughts on what I wanted to say a little bit. It's kind of scatterbrained, but this is how I do Trello. I don't have a doing column, you'll notice. I talked about that earlier in the earlier stream, but when I was actually making the game. I find it's a waste of time to move stuff over there to move to done. Either it's like on deck, it's going to get done, or it's not. So for a game jam, a larger project, I will do that, but not a jam. Okay. So that's what went well there. What went bad? Let's open the project here. And actually, I made... No, you didn't miss anything. Just talking about what went well, being prepared, having all the software up to date. That's all I've said so far. Yes. What didn't go well? I crashed Unity twice, I think. Maybe once. I think it only crashed once. I almost crashed a second time. And that was... I could probably reproduce the crash here. I'll show you how I crashed Unity, because I'll crash Unity here on purpose to show you what happened. Usually that's not a big deal. I save often, I commit my code a lot, and most of the things that I do in Visual Studio are saved. The only time it's a problem is when, like, I do a lot of work on a tile map or a scene, and I had changed... So the whole time I had not really messed with anything a whole lot, and then eventually I decided to get rid of the sprite version of the belt. So there is this belt here that you could paint on to the game world, and I replaced that with a actual belt entity that would have an animation. So these all have animators, and it plays an animation when the belt moves. We'll hit play here and I'll show you what I mean. I placed the entity and configured it, and then I didn't save. And that was one thing that didn't go good. Probably the second thing that didn't go good was that I didn't save that. And so what happened was, I was doing this, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I hit pause, because I was looking at another bug or something, and I went into the code, and inside the code, while Unity was paused and not stopped, I changed the speed for the player. So we'll do this now and see what happens. It was not happy, though. So the crane, it was the winch speed, I think, is what I was changing. I was like, oh, the winch needs to move faster. So I came in here, and there was this value for speed. It's 0.1f. And I think I changed it to, like, I don't know, 0.5 or something like that. And then I unpaused it. And when I did, Unity freaked out. And it was like, popped up an error. It was like, you can't do that. Maybe it was what was moving. Alright, let's change the speed of the crane now while it's in motion. So this speed, blah, blah, blah. So instead of speed, I did something like, you know, 5F. Save. Unpause. And then it freaked out. Now it's just acting weird. Okay. Well, whatever. And it crashed. Now I can't even make it crash. Go back to what you were. Let's go back here and change this back to what it was. Anyway, I did that and Unity freaked out and crashed. And that was terrible because I lost it. Normally it doesn't matter, but if you don't save the scene, I lost this whole prefab. All the settings that I had saved onto it were gone. The tile map was still here again, so I had to redo all that work, and it was more annoying than anything. Like, I already did it once, I could do it again, but it sucked, to say the least. The other thing that didn't go good is that I had this idea originally. Let's go to Twitter here, camera 2. If you look at the old screenshots, I think every time I do a postmortem I go to Twitter because that's where I put all the photos when I'm doing stuff. Alright, nobody cares about the guy fishing. Alright, here you go. So this dude, originally I was going to have a square like this. And the pieces were going to be shaped like Tetris pieces, except for the line. The line's too large, obviously, but the other pieces would be shaped in here, and you would put them on, and this cooldown would go very slowly. And so you'd have to figure out, you'd kind of play Tetris with the map and rotate and position pieces and then place them down here to make them fit the way that you wanted them to fit. This sounded like a great idea on the first day of the jam, and then I woke up this morning. If you go back to this morning's videos, and you'll see me like trying to figure out how to make that work, and either I wasn't awake enough or it just was way too complicated. I could probably do it, and if I refactored this and spent a week on it, but for a game jam, what was I thinking? Like, number one, where are you going to grab the piece, right? Because I have a grid system, and I'm saying, oh, the piece is going to take up more than one spot. So if it's an L shape here where my mouse is moving right now on the screen, where's the crane going to grab it? And how am I going to move all those other pieces along with that spot where I grab the crane? The way that I've coded it all. It might be the way that I architected everything from the beginning using this prototype with just grabbing a single package and dropping it off. But man, what a dumb idea. Like, not a dumb idea, it's a neat, interesting gameplay idea. Still might use it somewhere, but it wasn't the best. So things are moving along a little bit better here. And I think I had figured out that I was going to abandon that at this point in the game. Eventually, we got down to just 2 teleporters and a faster crane. So what was going to be kind of slow and spatial and thinking about how you were going to configure everything as you ran out of space turned into a more fast-paced, action-y, like, race against the clock as the items get dumped off. So being able to pivot. So this is something that started off as like, hey, this didn't work well, this is what went wrong. But being able to twist it around and use something simple like colors worked out good. Another thing that worked out well for this jam was I wanted to not make a platformer. And I do nothing in 2D. And because playing a platform game on a keyboard isn't that fun, usually the controls need to be very tight, and not everybody's going to have a gamepad. And so for LUDUM DARE specifically, and other types of jams, unless it's like a target around a platformer, I'm going to try to stay away from that more. I have side projects. I love platformers, are some of my favorite games ever made. But I think I can create a game experience that's easier to play regardless of what device the person has, better. So only using directional keys and a single action button and keeping the controls simple hopefully will make this game easy for people to be able to play. And I'm hoping that that's something that works out well. Time will tell, but for me, I like the fact that it's easy to do. Another thing, and I mentioned this during the development, is when you're binding keys and making a game. I know I play a lot of games on this channel. If you've never seen this before, I do a show I do a show Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday where I play Game Jam games pretty much exclusively on this channel. It's what I do. And one thing is that I don't know every engine, but Unity allows you to decouple the actual key codes that you're using and do an abstraction of those in its input manager, and you get there by going to the edit project settings input and setting up your cardinal directions with alternate keys, so left arrow and A, instead of just doing WASD or just doing arrow keys. Iris says Godot works like that also. Both Iris and Securus, I don't think Securus is here right now, he's on vacation, do a lot of stuff in Godot, and they're great members of our community. Thanks for chiming in there, I appreciate it. But keep in mind that not everybody has a QWERTY or an English layout keyboard. There's a lot of other countries, especially LUDUM DARE. It's a highly international event, unlike some other jams that you might do. It's important to make sure that you take into account and try to bring arrow keys and WASD, or, you know, I didn't do joypad support for this because I ran out of time, but it would have been nice if you could have used the controller for that as well. Something I would refactor if I could do it over again. I would have remembered to do that. Maybe I would have done that instead of drawing end caps on the railing here. But, oh well, it is what it is. That's something that worked out good, though, I think, and that I'm really happy that I was able to do, is get that in, and also make a point to mention that on the stream. Which comes to the other thing that worked out really well, kind of, and it was kind of it wasn't really a distraction, but it's more demanding, especially because it's really hot right now in the summer in August in the Midwest, and we don't run the AC a whole lot in our house, because we don't run the AC a whole lot in the house, and I'm upstairs, so it gets hot no matter what, whether we use the AC or not. But it's really hard to stream the entire game development process from start to finish without doing anything off camera. So this entire game was made on Twitch, and I'll export that to YouTube also eventually. But something went well. It went better than I thought it was going to be. I wanted to do that, but I also was concerned because a lot of times I spend a lot of time thinking and staring and pondering what I'm going to do. And I didn't really have to do that in this because I had my idea ahead of time. But I was concerned that there'd be lots of, like, we're talking like 20 minutes of me just kind of sitting back going, and drinking a lot of coffee and thinking a whole lot about what I'm going to do with this, right? That didn't happen a whole lot, only a little bit. I also, another thing that didn't go good is after I gave up on the Tetris pieces, I thought, well, maybe I actually did this. There was one of these little grabbable dudes, had 4 objects underneath it, up, down, left, and right, and they were colliders, and I was going to do detection on whether or not they could connect, and I was like, well, maybe you can connect green to green and still make your own pieces out of that. But then I realized pretty quickly I ran into the same moving problems that I had before, as well as problems with you know, how do you disconnect them? And you could totally paint yourself into a corner, and the whole thing was a mess. And I was like, why am I doing this? Let's just do color matching. It's really, really easy. And we can still make a game and get it done for the compo. It's also the first time I ever did the compo. I usually always do the jam, so I have an extra day. So that was pretty interesting. But I didn't really feel the effects of that because usually when I do the jam, I start a day late. Whenever I do the jam for LUDUM DARE, I start the following day, and I think about the theme all night, and I go to sleep, and I sleep on it. Then I'll go and wake up in the morning and start my game and come up with some ideas. So I didn't do that this time. I came with the ideas ahead of time, like I mentioned earlier, and that worked out pretty well. Yep. So, yeah, that's it. Now, to see how high of a score I can get, I'll give the game a playthrough real fast. And we'll see if I can. I have a feeling that I can get pretty far in this game, but I haven't given it like solid effort yet. So this is the first like real playthrough that I'll do on this. All right, let's go. And we'll see if I actually corrected any of those bugs that was running into. The other thing too is I wrote really terrible code for this game. I think the key is to just get stuff off the belt as soon as you can. Like, I'm going to come down here for the orange one anyway, so I might as well bring a green one with me. No orange and no white. Oh, the RNG. So no. Haven't ran into that nasty bug that I had right before submission. About an hour before submission, I had a terrible bug going on. I can't tell, my eyes are extremely tired right now. I thought that was pink. No. I think there's going to be a spot where you just have to let some hit and just take the loss. I probably should have made this go slower, but it feels so slow already. I mean, you're doomed to run out of space. That's the theme. No, don't grab the, 25,000, not bad. You get so much life, so. I think the deception here is that the game's about survival, and it's not. It's about, really, just scoring a lot of points before the lives inevitably are going to run out on you. Oh, it's like a pit in your stomach. I should have grabbed the white one. Oh, I got it. I still think if I started off stronger and really got lucky. It bugs out every now and then. You can't pick something up on there. You gotta hit the button twice, and it's really annoying. $6,100 points. Alright, that's the best. Boom. Alrighty, and that's cargOS, so that's the, 19 hours, 40 minutes of dev for LUDUM DARE. I guess it's really sad that I animated these ships, which, as the player, you never look past this bottom area. I don't even look at my health or my score. You end up staying right here. But that's pretty much it for the post-mortem. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to hit me up in Discord or on Twitter, or also just post a comment, and I'll be more than happy to try to explain anything that I did and why I did it. The other thing, too, is that on GitHub, all of the source code for this is available. Not that it's great source code, not that you should copy it for anything, but if you're interested in how any of it worked, you can check that out there. Alright, now I'm going to pause the stream, change what I'm streaming, and come back on, and I'll do a little bit of development, or not development, I'll do a little bit of LD reviews. Time to play some games, so take it easy, and I will see you in about 30 seconds.